All right, we are recording. We are
Okay,
live,
awesome.
and
Fantastic.
I'll take it away here. Welcome everybody officially to our health and wealth series. We're going to be talking about those two exact aspects and how our incredible opportunity is helping so many people around the world. All right, now, obviously, there's different things to successful living, right? To being the best person that you want to be. And I believe that health is a huge aspect of that, and also being able to have time freedom, being able to have financial freedom, being able to pursue your passions. All these things play a big and major key in people's everyday lives, right? So I'm excited because we have a powerful community of people, leadership, strategies, platforms that empower you to succeed. And I'll tell you a little bit about myself and my background to give you a gist of how crazy this opportunity is and when people plug in some of the success that they can have. I was the typical, person. My family is very educated. We have doctors in the family. We got an accountant. My older sister has 3 degrees. And so for me, it was just a formality to pursue college and university education. And so I ended up going into engineering. I wanted to be an engineer. And what I found from talking to a lot of people is a lot of times we just get into university just because that's what everyone does. You know what I mean? And when you're not really passionate about what you might be doing. And even further so, once you end up graduating or finishing school, you end up at a job that you're not really passionate about. You're doing something that you're not really fulfilled with. And that's where I found myself. The one thing I liked about university and college is that I made a lot of relationships. And one of them obviously was meeting Matt, right? And I'll talk about that in a second. But I ended up, finishing school, getting a job. I was working at a processing company out here in Vancouver. I was a systems control operator. It was in the fisheries industry. But when you really break it down, I was working at a factory and doing 12-hour shifts, right? Day shifts, night shifts. I hated, smelling like fish and just, you know what I'm saying? Like all the things that came with working at a factory, even though I was making decent income. I was making a pretty decent income for myself, but I found myself not really fulfilled, not really happy with what I was doing. I'm also a musician and very, very passionate about music, very, very passionate about traveling. I wasn't able to pursue those passions the way I wanted to because I was basically confined to my job. I couldn't set my own schedule. I had to wake up in the morning like most people do, work at 6 a.m. and work all the way to 6 p.m. And then sometimes, like I said before, night shifts as well. And so I didn't want that to be my narrative. I didn't want to be the guy that did a job that he wasn't passionate about for his entire life and then retired at 65. We all have dreams, we all have passions, we all have aspirations, things that we want to do, but especially when we're younger. But what happens? Life happens and we get derailed from that, somewhere along the way. It happens to almost everybody. I wanted to change that. I wanted to be able to be an inspiration to people and show them that there are opportunities out there that you can pursue and get the time freedom, the financial freedom that you need, and also, most importantly, health, right? So I started looking for different opportunities. And, a lot of times when you start looking for things come to you. A great friend of mine introduced me to Enagic, this platform, this community, this amazing technology that we'll be sharing with you. And I was absolutely blown away by what I saw and heard. Again, I was super skeptical though, because I had no background in it. I'd never done anything like it, but something about it resonated with me. I saw an opportunity, a potential to be able to pursue my passions instead of building someone else's at my job. And so, long story short, I ended up jumping on board, and I've been able to, pursue my passions now. I started obviously building it with my friend, Nee. And then I also got another friend on board as well. And we started to have a lot of success. Now, fast forward to 2017, I ended up reconnecting with Matt because we went to school together. We went our separate ways. And he went into the whole entrepreneurial industry, sales, if you will, business, and he made a name for himself in that industry. You know, he was breaking records across the country, and he was training teams, training people, and helping them be more productive in business. And so when we reconnected, I was absolutely blown away at how much he had just changed. He was not the guy that I met back in school, by no means. He was a confident, competent leader, and a guy that had done a lot of things in our industry. And so I was so excited to be able to connect with him. We started talking, and long story short, he ended up seeing the vision and he jumped on board. We started working together, and within, I'll never forget this, it was almost like, yeah, it happened yesterday. Within 2 months, he gives me a call and is like, bro, I'm quitting everything I'm doing. And mind you, he was doing really well with the stuff that he had going on at the time, 6 figures, and really, you know, making moves. But he quit everything he was doing. At the time, I thought he was crazy, to pursue this opportunity full time, because he really believed in it and he went all in. That's the kind of guy that he is. And it's amazing to say that about 6 months after that, 5-6 months after that, I ended up quitting my job as well. We have since helped so many people, right? You know, with time freedom, with their health, and obviously he's going to be diving into the intricacies with our technology and how you guys can also benefit from the opportunity and exactly the strategy and system that we leverage. Okay, so with not much further ado, I'll invite Matt to take the floor and share a little bit about himself, his story, why he's so freaking passionate about, you know, what we're doing, and why he's out in Hong Kong. That's another thing too, whole different story. All right, Matt.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Josh. Well, I've never like actually heard it like that before, but you're right. It was like you pitched me, I quit. We started taking off. We went to Japan, and then you quit your job.
Yeah,
you quit your job.
Interesting.
So like, yeah, this is crazy. It was 1, 2. Okay, guys. So we've been doing some training calls here for the past, I would say, about a month now. And they've been going well. So I've kind of got to test the waters now and see where everybody is at. So we're going to be, I've designed a little bit of a training program, because we have been doing weekly calls. But instead of kind of dragging them on like we have been, they're going to be more focused and content specific. Okay, because of course our machines are straightforward, what they do, but maybe how they do it is not so straightforward. So there's going to be different topics covered each week and different questions answered. For those of you that are on this for the first time and meeting me and Josh and seeing us all for the first time, this isn't our pitch. This isn't a presentation. This is a training call designed for distributors. But we like to invite people on just so that you can see that we're, you know, just a good group of gals and lads on here, learning some good stuff about health and talking about business and all that good stuff. Okay, so for those of you that have a pen and paper handy, which is probably some of you, I'm hoping. Tessa, do you have a pen and paper handy?
Don't actually, it's over there.
Okay, well, that's okay. I'll be sending it out. I'll be sending this out after, but we're going to be covering each week. So next week is going to be different. The week after that is going to be different. We're going to be doing a training schedule. First week, we're covering the antioxidants. What's going on with the machine and the antioxidants. Next week, it's going to be the acidity and the alkalinity. The following week, it's going to have to do with the detoxification and the hydration. Then the fourth week is going to be a recap. That's going to be our next group call, the recap call. Mm-hmm. And then after we've done our month of product, we can actually start talking about approaching people, business strategy, sales techniques, presentation training, etc. But for the following month, It's going to be in-depth understandings of the products, one topic at a time. Okay, so we're going to be starting today with the antioxidants. Casey and I had a really good back and forth this morning. Casey, thank you so much for all the efforts that you're putting in actually learning this and critiquing it and really digging down to that next level, that next layer of understanding of what's going on with our machine and the sciences. So I always do appreciate that. Okay, guys, so if anyone does have a pen and paper, please write these down, because at the end of each training, not necessarily at the end of each training, I'm going to provide you the answers to questions. If you can answer these questions, you know enough to confidently tell people about them. Yes, sometimes there's going to be some chemistry teacher that's probably going to ask you really, really in-depth, intense questions. It's okay if you don't know the answers to those, but the questions that I'm going to give you right now are the questions that you need to know the answer to. Okay? Patrick, are you writing stuff down? Yeah, cool. Okay, good. As long as someone is, then I can actually do this. Okay, so here's the questions that you need to know the answers to. The first one is, what is an antioxidant? Patrick, give me a thumbs up once you're done writing that, okay? That should be good for everybody. The next question, what is a free radical? The next question, what is oxidative stress? Next question, how does the machine create an antioxidant? Next question, why do antioxidants matter to us? Why do we care? And the last question is, what does oxidative stress do to us? If you can answer these 6 questions, you know enough about what our product does. Okay? So going forward in the future, at this point, I'm going to open my presentation and I'm going to run you through the oxidation part. I'm unable to do that today because of technical difficulties, but it really, really doesn't matter so much. The last question, Chantel, was, what does oxidative stress do to us? Thank you. Don't worry, guys. I'm going to be making up an agenda, a Word document, and then if you ask me for it, I will email it out. I'll probably drop it in our group, and it'll have the agenda of the upcoming weeks and the different questions you need to know and all of that as well. Okay, so guys, today is all about oxidation and antioxidation. It's going to be a little chemistry 101 for those of you that may have not taken chemistry in high school or never paid attention or just genuinely didn't take an interest in it. It's come to my attention that I train a lot of people outside of these group calls, and it's come to my attention that people aren't as familiar with chemistry as they need to be. Like, there's some distributors on here that we say, active hydrogen, but people don't even really know what hydrogen is or what's going on or how it even works. What is an atom? What's the chemical? Like, how does it work? So we're going to be doing a little bit of that today, so people actually know what it is they're talking about when it comes to explaining active hydrogen and stuff like this. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to show you guys, okay, let me just do this here, share. Josh, I need you to click on security and then allow participants to share screen.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see.
Got it?
Yeah, I got it. Try it now.
Okay, you guys can see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, guys, so I'm going to be starting with this. Okay, guys? So this is the periodic table of the elements. Everyone has seen this? Not a lot of people are super familiar with this. That's okay. I'm going to give you a very, very, very basic breakdown of this today, okay? So what we're looking at here is what essentially all life and everything is made up of. So these are the building blocks, okay? We look at this is like the legend. So all of the different chemicals on here, they will have what's called an atomic number, the name, the symbol, the atomic weight. But what matters for us today is the electrons per shell. Okay, so how many electrons are in it? So we go over here and there's hydrogen. You can see there's 1 electron on it. I'm going to explain this in a moment, okay? You can see that there's these different categories, these different colors. Okay, so the greens are called, what are the green called? Actinides. The red here, okay, alkali metals. The orange on beside that, alkaline earth metals. I'll explain more about this on next week's call when we're speaking about acidity and alkalinity. But just know that these on the left are, they're granules, they're minerals. Over on the right, you can see we have, these are gases, okay? So helium, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon. Hydrogen's over there on its own, okay? So 1 electron per shell, okay? So guys, I'm gonna show you right now what is an atom, because these are all different atoms here. I'm going to show you now what is an atom and why does this matter to us. So let me just stop share. Okay. Okay, good. We're back. Okay, so, let me get this set up here. So, okay, guys. So, what is an atom? For those of you who do not know. So, an atom has a nucleus, which is in the middle, and then electrons floating around it. Okay, so let's see, how much space should I take up? I'll just take up a lot for this one. Okay, 1, 2, 3. This is called a proton. This is called a neutron. And this is called an electron. Okay, guys, so an atom is made up of 3 parts. It's made of a proton, which is positively charged. It's made up of a neutron, which is neutral charge, and it's made up of an electron, which is negatively charged. If you remember in the hydrogen, it said that there was 1 electron per shell. Okay, so what does this mean? It means that we have in the middle of this 1 proton, 1 neutron, and then flying around the outside of it is an electron. This is hydrogen. Okay? This is a hydrogen atom. Oxygen has 8 per shell. So what does that mean? It means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It means in the nucleus, we have 8 protons, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we have 8 neutrons. And in the shell, there's 8 electrons. So in the first layer, there's 2. And on the outer layer, 2, 6. There's 6 on the next layer. 8. This is oxygen. Okay. So what happens, guys? A free radical. This is what causes oxidative stress, okay? A free radical is an atom that is missing an electron. This makes it unstable. So basically, this is now an angry oxygen atom because it wants to have 8, but it's only got 7. So it's highly, highly reactive at the moment. So what happens is this oxygen atom will come into your body and then take an electron from your healthy atoms. So this is what causes us to age, guys. Oxidative stress. This is what oxidative stress is. This is a free radical here, an atom that is missing an electron. Antioxidants have an available electron to give, to bond. Hydrogen is really, really cool because it is stable at just 1 electron. So what happens is we're drinking this water that has the active hydrogen in it, which I'll show you how in just a moment. But then what happens is we've got this free radical in our body. And what we do is we have this electron, this hydrogen, that will come in and connect to it. So it comes in and then it forms a bond. And then if we draw another one here, we can see we have 2 hydrogens and an oxygen. And just like that, we have water. Okay.
Hey Matt, could you zoom in on your thing a little bit more, if possible? Yeah, that's a little better.
Yeah. Okay, so that is some basic chemistry for you guys. We're going to be doing a recap of this in a few weeks. As always, I'm always happy to take questions about this. I can go through another one of these next week's call as a quick recap. But right now in our conversation, does anyone have any questions for me? I'm going to be explaining how our machine creates the hydrogen, but does anyone have questions for me right now?
I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah?
Yeah. Especially
Josh, do you want to
dry,
ask
it helps.
directly?
Sorry, Matt, say that again.
Just a second. It's just hot in here. Oh. Does anyone have questions? Casey, you knew about this already? Do you have any questions about that? Yeah, you knew it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah.
Anyone? Tessa, Patrick, Mario knew it. No. Good. Okay, guys. Good.
Nice.
So you should know this then. I will do a quick recap of this at the first 5 to 10 minutes of next week's call. And then in 4 weeks, I will run through it again. So how does our machine create the active hydrogen that is an incredibly powerful antioxidant? Again, why is it an incredible, powerful antioxidant? Because it's stable at 1, which allows it to connect to the unstable atoms very easily. Okay, so how does our machine create an antioxidant? You guys have seen this before. It's my favorite picture that we've got that explains how our machine works. This one right here. Man, I love this one right here. Okay, guys, so starting at the tap water there on the left, right? We're going to follow the arrows. Tap water goes into the machine, gets filtered, takes out the sediment, rust, lead, chlorine, bacteria, and odors. Then we have a form of purified water. And the purified water enters, we can see here, purified water, H2O, right? Right there, the blue one, 2 hydrogens and an oxygen.
Yeah.
Inside the machine, we have negatively charged and positively charged electrodes, cathodes and anodes. Hydrogen is positively charged. The hydroxyl anion, OH, is negatively charged.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys remember playing with magnets when you were little, you had like the north and the south, and the north and the south stuck together, and the north and the north repelled each other away. That's what's going on here. So we take this blue water molecule, and then we break it apart. So the positively charged hydrogen, the antioxidant, gets pulled into the negatively charged plate, and then the hydroxyl anion gets pulled into the positively charged plate. So out of the drinking hose comes H2O, a lot of water, but also active hydrogen gas, just H. This is why when you guys pour your Kangen water, you have that cloud. That is hydrogen gas. It's very good for you. Some people say, why is the water murky? It's gas. That's good. Get that in you right away. So this is how our machine creates the antioxidant. Does anyone have questions about this? I'm going to keep it on this so I can answer, but please, guys, now is your time to ask these questions.
I have a question for you about this. So when I explain this to people, I just say that they take an electric current to split the molecule so the positively charged hydrogen is going into the water. Is that accurate, the way that I describe it like that?
Yes. Yeah, I would if you're going into explaining it to someone, I would pull this picture out for sure.
Okay.
Because and then make say what I said about magnets, because everyone remembers playing with north and south magnets when they were kids.
For sure.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, for me, that makes sense, the way that it does that.
Yeah, well, it does make sense. Yeah, that's because that's exactly what's going on. So, anyone else have any other questions about how our machine creates an antioxidant? No. Okay, good. So, let me answer the questions now that you guys wrote down. What is an antioxidant? An antioxidant has an available electron to give to free radicals to neutralize them.
Available electron to give to free radicals to neutralize them. Perfect.
What is a free radical? A free radical is an atom, an unstable atom that is missing an electron. What is oxidative stress? Oxidative stress is the damage done by free radicals to our cells. How does the machine create an antioxidant? Through a process called electrolysis. We use electricity and negatively and positively charged cathodes and anodes to break apart the hydrogen from the water molecule. Why do antioxidants matter to us? They help us in fighting free radicals, which damage our DNA and cause us to age. Yeah, what does oxidative stress do to us? Damages our DNA and causes us to age. Yeah. If you have those answers known, I can repeat them. I can repeat them. This is going to be recorded. I can repeat them one more time. What is an antioxidant? An antioxidant is an antioxidant has an available electron to donate to neutralize free radicals. What is a free radical? Free radical is an atom that is an unstable atom that is missing an electron. What is oxidative stress? Oxidative stress is the damage done by free radicals. How does the machine create an antioxidant? Through the electrolysis process, using negatively and positively charged cathodes and anodes. We break apart the water molecule, providing us with active hydrogen. Why do antioxidants matter to us? They neutralize free radicals. What does oxidative stress or what do free radicals do to us? They damage our DNA, which causes us to age. Okay. If you didn't get all those, happy to answer them afterwards. You can just send me a DM in Facebook. Okay, guys, so that is going to be what we cover today. It's going to be a 6 to 8 week course that we're running through. What's important is that you can answer those questions whenever asked to you. If you can answer those 6 questions, you can confidently tell anyone about this machine. Okay? So it's going to be totally open floor now. Josh, up to you if you want to keep it recording or not. It's going to be entirely open floor. You guys can ask me questions about anything. It doesn't just have to pertain to the chemistry or the or what we discussed today. It can have to do anything, like questions about me, questions about business, questions about anything at all.
Awesome. I want to start off the questions real quick. Okay. I had a specific one about, this is more on the chemistry side. So with the hydrogen, when it's split, is it H2 or is it just H's?
Just H.
Just the H.
Yeah, OH is incredibly acidic. Right. Yeah, OH is incredibly acidic. It's called a hydroxyl anion.
Right.
Yeah.
So why do people say that we have H2 in our water then? Are they just missing?
I think because what happens is that the H gets brought off and then they might bind together.
Yeah.
So they might bind together is what happens. You're not taking both hydrogens off of the water molecule, but I think what's happening, and this is a good question, I'd be happy to learn about this, is that we take one H from one, we take one H for another, and then they kind of stick to each other. Which is good. And on another note, just that you've said that, this is directed at Casey, and Josh watched this happen. I didn't research anything until someone asked me it. I've been doing sales long enough to know that if we start wondering all the different ways that people are gonna start saying that they don't want to buy this, or all the things that could be wrong, we're gonna research for the rest of our lives. So thanks for asking that. That's a good question. That is my answer based on logic. So I'm not completely sure, but I'm really quite positive we're not breaking off both hydrogens from the water molecule. Yeah, good question, Josh. Thank you.
Then the hydrogen, one of them's going to the Kangen water, and then 2 of them are expelling outside into the acidic hose.
Well, water only has 2 hydrogens on it.
Yeah.
So we're breaking one off, and then the OH is going out the other side because OH is incredibly acidic.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, solid question. Good question, Josh. Anyone have questions? Casey, do you have any questions right now? I know we had a good back and forth this morning.
Yeah. Well, we just this morning we were talking about how I came. Okay. Well, the background for this question was I also reviewed the Senescen's websites, anti-aging websites and whatnot. They mentioned that too much antioxidants, it might be a bad thing. So my main question was that if this machine is producing lots of antioxidants in the form of H, that's what the diagram mentioned. Then the diagram you just showed us mentioned. Would that be overdoing it, kind of thing? And then because you mentioned that you needed some balance, and then you mentioned that those are related to vegetables and not water or something like that. Or...
Well,
Yeah. Sorry, you got it from senescence, right? What is that?
Okay, senescence is the science of aging, and it's related to Aubrey de Grey person. He's like this guy who's trying to anti-aging guru who's trying to get together all these scientists who are like trying to go into stem cells and look for ways to mess around with the genes so that they last a bit longer, and they're looking for different ways to kind of extend to make us more resilient to aging. So they mentioned that the free radicals, the hydroxyl molecule that you mentioned was they mentioned that too much antioxidants, the H's, I guess, would be too much antioxidants.
And so the primary statement in that article, it was referring that free radicals can be beneficial to digestion. Is that right?
Or any kind of anti-aging, that kind of thing.
No, but it said free radicals are good for digestion, right?
I guess so.
I think that's what it was saying. So, because I read that article as well, and from what it seems and the wording that it said is that they were testing people taking antioxidant supplements.
Okay.
So they were eating a lot. It was like talking about basically a diet that consisted of a lot of antioxidants, like vegetables and stuff like this, and then adding supplements on top of that. So because we're dealing directly with active hydrogen, it doesn't go through the complete process. Like when you eat a blueberry, it's got to go into your stomach, get broken down, go into your intestines, get absorbed through your blood. The active hydrogen just goes right into your blood right away. So to answer your question, I've never heard of over antioxidizing ourselves. I'm actually personally in the opinion that like maybe this could have been relevant like 50 or 60 years ago, but in the year 2020, like there's a ton of free radicals just everywhere.
Toxins and smoking and whatnot.
Well, just free radicals too, man. Like there's far more frequencies blasting around us. Wi-Fi, cell phones, and there's far more processed shit food. There's far more people like smoking and drinking, and like the list just goes on and on and on about why free radicals are increasing. Like even the blue light on your cell phone, it's acidic to your eyes. Like I don't think it's something particularly we should concern ourselves with. I've given the water to extremely healthy people and extremely unhealthy people, and so far in my personal experience, it's been nothing but people just feeling and being better afterwards. So
good stuff.
Probably something like I'm going to actually take down both of these notes. I would definitely be interested in hearing about over anti-oxidizing ourselves, which I'm sure too much of anything is typically bad. But again, I think I might have mentioned this to you too. I think the amount we would need to consume would be like absurd. Like it would probably be like, we probably need to get like 10 liters into us a day before we were over anti-oxidizing or over alkalining ourselves. And no one's going to be doing 10 liters a day every day. Like that's not going to happen. Right? Yeah. Why? But great question. And thanks again for digging a little deeper.
Another question I have is, now that I know that this water is, you know, we be drinking it during the day and whatnot, does it have any ways to kind of, you know, how our kidneys and our livers get damaged for overuse, and perhaps these this crap in our system, then with this water re-glue the tissue. You know how the antioxidant, the H's, then re-glue back up, refuse back into our flesh, I guess, molecules in our flesh. Does this mean that it regenerates our livers and our kidneys just a bit longer while it does its thing?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not going to just go ahead and say yes to that because we're not supposed to make bold scientific claims.
Yeah.
However, I've witnessed two incredible scenarios of this water aiding in people that have damaged kidneys.
Okay.
Josh's dad is one of them.
Good.
Now, I'm not going to speak too much on that. However, I have a downline of mine in London. She's an older lady. Awesome. She's had diabetes for years and years. 2 weeks after drinking the water, she went to the doctor, and her doctor said, I don't know what you've done, but I need to take you off of your medication.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah.
And in Japan, they use this to treat people with diabetes.
Okay, good stuff.
Okay, in Japanese hospitals. I can send you a video where they show this. So I'm not going to go ahead and say yes to that, but I am definitely going to go ahead and say I think yes.
Until the definitive science comes out, like the papers and whatnot, as this machine progresses.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my own theories on that too. I can touch on this real quick, but in Eastern medicines, in Asian medicines, versus Western medicine, if you go to a traditional Chinese doctor here in Hong Kong and you say, "Oh, I've got this is how I feel," his answer is, "What did you do to feel this way?" If you go to a doctor in Western society, Europe, North America, "Doctor, I feel this way," his response will be, "Here's this pill to make you feel better." So Eastern medicine is really preventative, and Western medicine is really like treating it versus treating what caused it. And anyways, I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, but I think there's some big pharma that's kind of hushing this type of stuff, to be totally honest. But that's just me, being
it's always good to be a rebel, it's good to be a rebel against the man doing this, so that's good. Sticking it to the man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Casey. I always appreciate our combos.
The new man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you. Okay, anyone else? Questions? Yeah, that was awesome, Casey. Thank you.
Maybe look in the chat and see what's been going on with there. See if you can.
Oh yeah, I saw a whole bunch of stuff firing up in there. I think I saw someone talking about alkaline versus alkalized. I think.
I saw Leo.
Okay. Leo, I've read about drinking high pH isn't necessarily good. Leo, I'm not sure if you've been on any of our other calls. I will be covering this in definition, but with all of the articles you've read, it's talking about alkaline, not alkalized. There's a really big difference. I'm going to go into this in more detail next week. Alkaline, remember I was on the periodic table of elements and I said there's alkaline metals, alkaline earth metals, and alkaline metals. those are metals that are alkaline, such as magnesium or sodium or calcium. And they will put these alkaline earth metals into the water. So you got neutral water, you put some magnesium in, you put some sodium in, and now you've raised the pH level. You've made it alkaline or alkali. We are increasing the potential for hydrogen by literally just putting more hydrogen in. We put more active hydrogen in. Over a long period of time, when you drink the alkaline earth metals or the alkaline metals, your body has a really tough time breaking that down because it's metal. So your body has a really tough time breaking that down. And over time, the metal can kind of build up. And in fact, there has been some cases where people have developed a kidney stone because they put, but all these things, they gather up, and then you've got a little rock, a little earth metal in you. And then it turns into the stone and your kidney tries to get rid of it. And obviously that's not what it is. It most likely is, but please do check. Because Leo, after price, I would say that this is probably the second most common objection that I would get. Because people go, oh, I'm going to research. And they go, why is alkaline water bad for you? That's the first thing that they Google, right? Like, why Enagic water is a scam, right? Like, that's what they Google, right? But why is alkaline water bad for you? And they Google it, and then they get all these things, and they go, ha, see? You're like, yeah, I didn't even listen to me when I said. And then you just got to run them through what I ran you through, because it gets really, really common for new starts to be like, oh no, is this water unhealthy? Or for prospects to bring that up. So definitely good to keep that going. Okay, let's see what else. There's certain times to intake alkaline water and when not to for best results. I'll forward to Tara if anyone wants. Sonora, you can forward that to Tara. I'm assuming it's going to be discussing what I was just discussing as well. There are certain times when 100% I'm mineral deficit. I'm at a mineral deficit and I need some of that. In fact, women should be drinking mineralized water more than men because of osteoporosis. If you know what osteoporosis is, women just, I don't know exactly what it is. I don't want to speak out of turn here, but there's less minerals in their body, or they use them more. I think it has to do with that cycle that comes every month and the blood being lost and la, 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 la. But they need to replenish the metals in their body. And women are also more prone to anemia, which is a lack of iron. And so they need to be supplementing more minerals. I'm not necessarily a fan of supplements, but the iron minerals, like if you're a woman, I would probably recommend taking them. Or eat a steak. Dig into a steak daily, right? Yeah, there's definitely times where one should consume more minerals, and definitely times where other people shouldn't. But the alkalized, where it's just the hydrogen, so far from what I can tell, you can go crazy on it. You're not going to be over anti-oxidizing your body, and there isn't going to be the mineral buildup. These are solid discussion that's going on here. Okay, yeah, good. Okay, I think I covered that. Yeah. Wow, you guys really were going in here. Yeah, so
that chat was buzzing.
Yeah, it was buzzing. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, when it comes to pregnancy, though, you don't want to drink the alkaline because the little baby unit in there, the woman's body is just so incredible when it goes into pregnancy. Like I can go off about this for a minute, but like Josh, they literally grow a new part of their brain, and then when they're done being pregnant, that part of their brain goes away. It's insane, dude. And like Chantal, I know a strange amount of information about all this, but like every hour, yeah, Chantal, it lends to the reality that women's brains are more plastic than men's. they're because their brain literally changes, like they grow a new piece. Their olfactory systems, their sense of smell like increases by like 4 times. The woman body goes into like complete sacrificial mode. Like, do I need food or does the baby need food? Baby gets it all. Do I need blood? Baby gets it all. Like the woman's body is like my priority second, baby first. And the water gets changed in the uterus, which is not small, especially in like week 40. The uterus is like this big. It replaces all of that water every 60 minutes. Clean, fresh water in there for the baby. So, anyways, the baby should be the woman should be drinking neutral water when pregnant, not alkaline water when pregnant, because the woman's body is doing everything to make sure that water body that the baby in is absolutely on point. Because I've had one person, I didn't know that his girlfriend was pregnant, but he called me up and he's like, dude, my girlfriend is sick, really, really sick all the time. Like she puts the water in, the water comes out. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? Eventually said she's pregnant. I'm like, oh, well, it's poison for the baby at this point. Because the woman's body is maintaining that thing for the baby perfectly. 100% perfectly. And if all the water going in is 8.5, that's way too alkaline for the baby to be sitting in. Way too alkaline for the baby to be sitting in. So we drink neutral. But anyways, yeah, I've got I'm incredibly interested with the whole like one cell grows into a human. Like I've been pretty interested in that for a bit now because it's mind blowing. You know, Suits? Oh my goodness, what's going on in here now? I've never seen Suits, but everyone tells me I need to watch Suits.
You should.
My girlfriend's even watching it right now. She's like, oh my goodness, Maddie, you're like this one guy, but then you're like this other guy too. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So pregnant moms can't drink the Kangen. They can, Casey. They just drink the neutral. Yeah. Damn, bro.
7.0. Yeah, neutral.
Suits for the hospital. Nice. Could you imagine? I could probably go in and pull it off. Because one thing I know about Suits is that the guy isn't a lawyer, but then he pretends being a lawyer, and then he's really good at being a lawyer, so they let him be a lawyer. I could probably pull that off. That's funny. Thanks, Leo. Obviously, massive compliment. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Okay, guys. I love this. The conversations that we've had, they've really been open floor. This has been great. So we can go another, let's say 7 minutes, wrap it up at 1:15. Does anyone have any more questions for me? And please, guys, if you have questions like after this, message me. Me and Casey had a really good back and forth this morning. It was really good. It was like, we were almost like, it's like devil's advocate combo that we had this morning, right? Casey, that was solid. He said, well, what about this? I'm like, well, what about that? He said, well, what about this? Well, what about that? Like, if anyone has questions or concerns or comments that you think people are going to have, or that you genuinely have, or that your mom has, or whatever, please message me. I love to have these conversations. Yeah. Thanks, Chantal. It's been a pretty big 3 years, I would say, for my personal growth. Does the Kangen effects ever wear off if the water was sitting for a while after the processing? Yes, it does. The first to go is the active hydrogen. The active hydrogen is the first to go. So you get more hydrogen the sooner you get it in you. The next to go is the microclustering, just because we reduce the resistance of the clusters, right? So we take it from this, then we take it to that, then we take it to this. Over time, they'll start kind of connecting again, and then you'll end up with your clusters. The last to go is the alkalinity, and the alkalinity lasts, like they say 3 days, but I think it lasts longer. So about 3 probably to 5 days, you'll have a nice alkaline water until it goes down. That's assuming that it's refrigerated. Basically anything that creates energy. I'm not sure about sound yet, but I have a feeling, but like heat and light will bring it back to neutral. I suspect sound would as well. But yeah, energy kind of, waves it back down to its neutral state. Tessa?
Yeah, so with myself, I can't drink the 9.5 like all day, every day because I get a stomach ache, and so does my mom. Can you speak to that a little bit, please?
Interesting.
It's high.
That I'm not sure about. You should be able to drink the 9.5. Have you changed it? It could either be genetics or diet. That's the only thing I could see it being. I've never, you would be the first person I've experienced that after this amount of time can't drink the 9.5. Where I live in Rossland, my mom doesn't drink the 9.5, but that's because our well water is 7.8. So like, speaking to the fact that Sonora made earlier, is that our water is mineralized as heck, like out the tap. 7.8 full of minerals because we have an artesian well, right? Which you saw that diagram. Water comes down into the ground and then pulled right up. So we have the artesian well plus the alkaline. I drink 9.5 when I'm home, but like I put the drops in for the 9.0 and it's like purple.
Super purple.
Like, whoa, like that is, Josh has seen it. It's like, well, this is some powerful stuff coming out of there. So I don't know, you drink 9.0?
Yeah, usually. Like I have a big glass of 9.5 in the morning, too, like 1 or 2 glasses, but throughout the day, like drinking it.
Yeah, so it probably has to do with the water that you've got at your place. It could have something to do with genetics as well, but 9.0 is, you're good. Yeah, you're good. Do you see a lot of the hydrogen?
Yes. Yeah, I got a
That's the one thing, guys, and I think I've mentioned this in the past before, but the alkalinity is the least important part of what our machine does.
Yeah.
What matters is the active hydrogen and the reduced microclusters. The antioxidants and the hydration and the detox, way more important than the alkalinity. Our body does a pretty good job of maintaining alkalinity. Our body has not as good of a response to free radicals because it's hard to deal with. And obviously hydration and detox. And yeah, it's super important.
Okay, yeah, you're right. It could be the water in Calgary because when I was back home when I first got my machine, I would drink it all day, every day, and I was fine, right? So I'm thinking maybe it's just the Calgary.
Interesting. It could be. I'll ask some of my other distributors there as well, see how they feel, or see if they're even drinking enough water yet. Yeah, anyone else? Oh, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and then with the different levels of alkalinity, does the hydrogen levels vary within, like, is there more in 9.5 than in 9? And so, yeah.
You should see how much there is in the 11.5.
I mean,
it does vary. The difference between 8.5 and 9.5 is not incredibly drastic.
Okay.
The pH scale is like the Richter scale. So the Richter scale measures earthquakes. And what I mean by that is that, like, if we're at 7, right, we go up to 8, that would be +1. You go up to 9, +10. You go up to 10, +100. You go up to 11, +1,000. So like the ppm, I guess you could say, parts per whatever, but the it's not just like a linear, it's an exponential difference. So the higher or lower you go, it's way bigger of a difference for the pH. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Solid. Anyone else? Thanks everyone for being on here, and awesome questions today. Yeah, really great. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to be wrapping this up. Thank you, everyone, for attending today, and thank you, everyone, for what do the higher machines do? They've got more plates in them. More plates, more surface area, more hydrogen. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. More plates, more surface area, more hydrogen, smaller clusters. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, guys, thank you so much. We'll wrap this up. If you got more questions, please message me. It was great to meet all of you who are on here for the first time, like Sonora, for example. I don't think I've actually met you before, but thanks for the awesome input today. Hopefully we hear from you soon. Thank you, Nat. I'll send, I'm going to finish up that little training schedule that I've got. I'll post it into the group in the next little bit here. And guys, if you can answer those 6 questions, then you learned everything you need to learn on today's call. Thanks so much, everyone. I'm gonna be out of here now. So have a great rest of your evening. Sleep well, and see you next week.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Thanks, guys.